Hey, fifth graders. Hey, we're going to continue on this order of operations as well as evaluating expressions using the order of operations. Okay, much like all of the previous videos that I've posted, we're going to just review the order of operations. Remember, this is the rules sheet is a guide in your student work packet. Okay, so use it as we solve these. So remember, there's four main operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, and then we added a certain operation, if you will, with parentheses and exponents. We haven't spent much time on exponents, okay, but the parentheses was definitely added here. Okay, so remember, in our order of operations, the rules. Whenever we're evaluating expressions with multiple operations in it, we always have to do parentheses first, whatever's inside the parentheses. And we learned from our last video that you can even have multiple operations within parentheses. Okay, so all the same rules apply even within those parentheses. Okay, so first things first is we do parentheses, whatever's inside there. Exponents is second. Multiplication and division is at the same level. Okay, so that is what we perform third. But if you see multiplication and division in the same equation, you have to do it left to right, just like we read. Okay, and then the last operation we perform is addition and subtraction. Okay, so much like the previous step, if you see addition and subtraction in the same equation, you have to do perform it left to right. Okay, all right, guys. So the last few days, actually, I should say. And all of your assignments have been using these order of operations and solving or evaluating expressions. Okay, they give you the numbers, they give you the operations, and you solve it, right? Well, today it's going to be a little bit different, and that's why I included this sheet in the back, the buzzwords, because we're actually going to be given number sentences with word problems, okay, and we're going to have to figure out how to write the expression using word forms before we actually evaluate it or solve it, okay? So, whenever we hear product, difference, quotient, and sum, we're thinking that, well, that's the result of whatever operation we're using, right? That indicates, whenever we hear these buzzwords, it indicates that there's already parentheses in there, and we have to perform that first, okay? Because this means the result. Product is the result of multiplication, difference is the result of subtraction, quotient is the result of division, and then sum is the result of addition, okay? All right, okay? So this one's going to be the trickiest one. This is the one that's going to slip us up. All right, so pay attention to those buzzwords because that typically, the result of whatever operation typically means parentheses, okay? And then all the other buzzwords for your other four main operations, there's things that you've seen plenty of times before. Multiplication is times, multiply, and then half. If you hear half of something, we know that we can find halves by multiplying by 1/2, okay? All right, division, we have divided and divide. Once again, half, you can divide it by 2. You can find half of something by dividing it by 2. Remember, half is the same as multiplying 1/2 or dividing by 2. Okay, those are the same, basically the same exact thing, just accomplishing it a little bit differently. Okay. Addition, we have added, add, plus, and then subtraction has the most. Minus, minuses, take away, subtract, okay? Those key buzzwords indicate that we are doing a particular operation within a word problem, okay? All right, or word form. All right, guys, so actually let's get to it. All right, we're going to spend most of our time today on page 635 in your teacher's manual, okay? So head over to page 635 so you guys can follow along. I'll put it up on here in our PowerPoint. Okay, guys, so we're going to start with a warm-up problem, all right? We're going to start with a warm-up problem, just evaluating expressions before we actually get to 635, but remember, we are on page 635. All right, so it says, model each expression with counters. Okay, we're not going to use counters today. Hard to get counters on the smartboard. We're just actually going to perform them one step at a time. Okay? All right, I notice same operations as well as same numbers. But if you notice on the left, we have parentheses here, okay? So we have to pay attention to that. Because although we have the same numbers, same operations, parentheses drastically change how we perform this problem. Because, let's do the one on the left. I always do whatever's in the parentheses first, and I notice that it's 3 plus 2. That gives me 5. Okay, and then I rewrite it because I only do one step at a time. 5 times 4 equals 20. Okay, I know I'm writing over the text over there, but hopefully you guys can still see my red. All right, now, if I look at this expression over here, I notice that there are no parentheses, and I see addition and multiplication. Well, according to order of operations, what do I do first? That's multiplication. So I see that 2 and 4 are on the outside of the multiplication, so I do 2 times 4, and I end up with 8. I rewrite my equation, 3 plus 8 equals 11. See how that drastically changes what my outcome is? Okay, so pay attention to those order of operations. Look for those parentheses, see if we need to do that first. Okay, so now we're going to get to what I was describing earlier, page 635, okay? Page 635, guys. All right, it says, write a numerical expression to represent the following phrase. Well, I'm just going to read it out loud for you guys, and we're going to try and find numbers and operations and write that as an expression. We have 15 minus the sum of 6 and 7. So when we were looking at the buzzwords to start this video, we know that sum indicates the result of addition, okay? And I also said that that indicates what? Parentheses. So I'm going to write the rest. As I see it, I see number 15. I know that minus indicates subtraction. And then, like I said, sum indicates parentheses. So I need to place 6 plus 7 in parentheses. Because, like I said, parentheses or sum indicates the result of addition. Okay? So I can't, if I got rid of these parentheses and said 15 minus 6 plus 7, it's different when you apply the sum part of it. Okay, sum means parentheses, all right? Sum means the result of addition, okay? So I have to add those parentheses in there when we hear that word sum, okay? Because this is how you would write it. It's 15 minus the sum of 6 and 7. But if I did this, it's completely different, okay? It is 15 minus 6 plus 7. And as we know from our practice problem before this, in the previous slide, we absolutely know that without parentheses, it completely changes what our outcome is, or what our sum is, or what our answer is. Okay? So, the key part here, what's going to slip you up, is the buzzwords for parentheses. Sum, result of addition. Okay? It doesn't say plus, it says sum. Alright, guys? So this one is going to be tricky, okay? Do your best to use your order of operations rules handout that I provided for you guys, and use it as a guide to help you out with these problems. Alright, guys.